After a dramatic start to the round of 10, we roll on to the home of NASCAR, Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the ModOnPC.com 200 live on JCTV for round 2 of the BSR AMSOIL Truck Series playoffs. Opened in 1960 and hosting the endurance classic that is the 600 ever since, Charlotte Motor Speedway is one of the greats and became the template for so much of the NASCAR boom. A mile and a half in length with 24 degrees of banking and a tricky quad-oval front stretch, this close quarters track never fails to push driver and car to their limits. And with temperatures in the high 80s and the track at a roaring 120 Fahrenheit, that's 50 Celsius, add the tyres to that group of tortured souls. Fall off is expected to exceed 2 seconds a lap by the end of the stint, so conservation and smart use of your 5 sets of Goodyears will be vital to success. I'm Olivia Hayward, bringing you all the action for tonight's race as always, and before we get into our qualifying lineup, let's actually bring up the current point standings for the playoff group. Now, there's 3 races left before we cut the field down to 4, but in typical NASCAR fashion, there have been massive championship implications on a Wednesday. 2 of our playoff drivers being behind suspensions following the events of the race at Bristol. Justin Duran's round of 10 is already over and he's eliminated from championship contention after a 3-race suspension for intentional wrecking. And Michael Walls, the victim of that incident, has been parked for this race for bringing out the yellow following that incident. So what this does is it slims down our field dramatically. Tristan Maher, who won that race last time out, actually does not have Michael Walls 3 points behind. He will fall all the way down. Justin Durand also out of the picture, of course. So it's just Stephen Maggio and Jonathan Jordensmeyer with a single-digit gap to that 3rd place driver, and Justin Raw 10 points adrift from Tristan. It is going to get very interesting indeed. And the next 200 miles are going to be absolutely pivotal to decide who is a front runner and who needs a miracle to make it to those final 3 races with a shot at the title. Just 90 seconds left in practice here, and looking at our timing charts right now, it is Rivers Jones at the top of the board, as he is in the championship running. 10 top 10s and all 13 races attended. A very, very strong omen, and continuing that form into tonight's race. Alonso Chicano, a non-playoff driver, strongly in 2nd place on the practice charts, and then Cameron Caldwell looking in 3rd to turn his season around as he currently sits at the bottom of the playoff table, albeit only about 6 points away from the new cut line. It is, again, a blisteringly hot track. We'll ride on board with Rivers Jones just very quickly for a lap, or most of a lap of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And while we're not expecting too much use of the brake, maybe a little bit of a tap for rotation, just on the rear axle, moving the brake bias back, you are going to be off throttle for a significant amount of the corner, and it very much depends how good of a state your tyres are in as to how much speed you can carry. With just a few seconds left, a quick pit entry practice, and we will get right on to our qualifying session. As always, just 5 minutes available for our drivers to set 2 flying laps, the best of which will set their position on the grid. And I am sometimes struggling with maths in the commentary booth, but I can't help but count just 7. I can't help but count just 7 names on the timing sheets for this one in terms of our playoff drivers. Stephen Maggio, who is currently in 5th position, does not seem to be in the lobby right now, and if he also has an absence from this race, as I just checked the provisionals tab, no formal announcement of that, but this could be a huge implication as another driver potentially could be knocked out of contention. Let's follow William Kempf in the 09 as he gets his qualifying underway, just starting that first lap. You to see what line the 09 takes in that Ford F-150. All the way down to the blue line there, all the way onto, well, very nearly the apron. It's a tricky line to tuck through there. A lot very bumpy, and especially off turn number 4, all the way down. Very big bumps on the edge of turn 4, and as the track flattens away, it can be very easy to either get into the wall trying to keep the wheel straight, or end up spinning, trying to keep the truck off that safe barrier. William Kempf is down 9th in our playoff standings right now, 5 points below the effective cut line, so does need a strong result here, but that lap 1 is not what he would have wanted. Half a second off Alonso Chicano on that first lap. See if he can find a little bit more pace coming through turn 4 and across the stripe. It is an improvement, and it's good enough for 3rd place, but still about 2.5 tenths off Alonso. Rivers Jones does go fastest, again top of the charts in practice, currently top of the charts in qualifying, and this will be an indication as to whether we can expect improvements on lap 2 from the best of the best, because that is a fantastic lap time from the number 18 Toyota Tundra, and we'll see if the North Carolina native home race here find a little bit extra on lap number 2. That's going to be a no, so I think these tyres really like in the first lap when you give them absolutely everything. Tristan Maher all up against the wall on lap number 1. Maybe he's setting up for the second lap here, because that's not the line that most drivers have been taking, but you might be able to find some pace up there. That is not going to be it though. And now for lap number 2, tucks it all the way down. This is very much an IndyCar style of qualifying strategy. But a moment there through turn 2, has to catch the truck right up against the wall. Walks it up there, and that can't be good for lap time. We'll see what he can recover, but with 2 minutes left, I think our reigning race winner could have a bit of work to do working up through the field to try and go back to back. It's a 30.5, it's good enough for 3rd place actually, so sometimes smooth isn't necessarily fast. And in this case, a great run from the number 17, as I think he will go to practice a pit entry potentially. We'll follow Cameron Caldwell coming through turns 3 and 4. Just 90 seconds left in the session. Justin Rohr also out on track and starting a lap here. So all playoff drivers will get an attempt to move up the grid. Currently, William Kempf is the last of the 5 that have time set, down in 10th of 11 times. Rivers Jones really brought some heat there with 30.4. Only one of the driver able to get into that bracket. And Cameron Caldwell be the 3rd. Won't be this time, it's about a 10th of a second off that mark. We'll qualify in 6th place. Justin Rohr also on the first lap. We'll keep you updated on what his lap time is across the line. Let's hopefully get a second attempt in. He did 30.574 for Justin Rohr. He's going to be cutting it close for a second attempt, but he's in 5th place right now. Can Cameron Caldwell improve with just 20 seconds on the clock? Yes, finds another almost 10th of a second and moves up into 3rd place ahead of the 17 of Tristan Maher. Caldwell had a great run for most of the race at Bristol, looking to continue that form and hopefully close it out. But we'll need to improve the tyre wear. How difficult this track is going to be. Justin Rohr comes across the line and finds a tiny improvement, but it won't be enough to move him up a spot, and I'm not sure it counted anyway. But regardless, that is your 16-car field for tonight's race, and the playoff field effectively seems to be already cut down to 7. So big drama with 3 races left in the opening round. We go now to our grid, of course, and we will have a look at our full starting lineup for tonight's race. Rivers Jones does take that pole position for Turn 1 Autosport with a 340.443. Alex Kerfen will be alongside with a 30.475. Then it's Cameron Caldwell for Radius Racing on the inside of that second row. Tristan Maher will line up alongside for Chicano Motorsports with PBR Manufacturing. And then right behind, Solon Chicano. This time on Radius Racing, and Justin Raw rounds out your top 6. Tony McCorkle will line up 7th place with season debutant Philip Scott in 8th place in a Ford F-150. Jonathan Jerdensmeyer and Levi Poland will make up row number 5 in tonight's race, with Fidel Fabian and Josh Coppenall making up row number 6. William Kemp and Shane O'Neill will be our final drivers with qualifying times. And then David Durant and Stephen Thornton have the long way to go from the back of the field all the way up to the front. So 200 laps at play for this field of drivers. So 200 miles, 134 laps to separate who is going to be in with a shot at the playoffs or to continue their run into the Championship 4. And as the field, I believe, is starting to roll away, it is going to be Rivers Jones and Alex Kerfen rolling for the one and only pace lap here. Stage will, of course, fall at the end of lap number 34. 1/4 race distance, and will award points to the top 10 that could be oh so crucial for this championship fight. So there's a quick sprint, and I think also crucially you'll know there'll be a caution to cap out that first stage, so you probably want to save the rest of your tyres for the remaining 3/4 in case there's a late overtime where you could really use 4 fresh Goodyears. Pace truck rolls through turns 3 and 4. Will take the hard left down pit lane, and it's up to Barney the Flagman. We are underway at Charlotte, and already it's a messy start. Drivers struggling to react to a little bit of wheel spin, and they're going to fan out 2-3 wide here. But we are rolling cleanly and off to a start. And it is going to be Rivers Jones holding on at the front of the field. The rest of the pack got a little bit scrambled up, but nothing of too much consequence as we get through turns 3 and 4 for the first of 134 times. Maybe more if we have some more drama on this one. Rivers Jones clicks off lap number 1. Alex Kerfen is not waiting long, wants to be at the front of the field here. And then Cameron Caldwell sat a couple of tenths behind in the catbird seat right now. As Kerfen goes low, try and get this move done early. Multiple lines available for use here. You can carry the speed on the outside groove. No progressive banking, of course. Bear in mind, as Kerfen fights on that low side, pinches himself down towards that blue line. That is going to just take a little bit out of these tyres. Jones is up on the wall for defense. You can see how close he's willing to run this. And then Art's in, using that seam as a reference point when you've got a truck below you. And it looks like he will clear and should be able to defend that attack to open up this race. Quick update on the weather. The track temp has dropped just a little bit down to 114 Fahrenheit as we enter the mid-afternoon local time 3:25 Eastern Daylight Time. And so there'll be a little bit of track evolution as we get through this one. Track famous for how much the weather and the conditions do progress during the 600. Got a third of that distance, but still expecting plenty of action throughout the next 200 miles. A little bit further back, Tristan Maher, again, winner last time out. It's already fallen 5 positions down to P9. I'm wondering how much of this is a struggle for the 17 and maybe how much is seeing the long game and wanting to run this out to play for what will come in 30 laps time. So corollary to that, Levi Poland already up 5 positions after starting in 10th spot. Now runs as high as 5th and is working on number 4 there, 25 of Alonso Chicano, who is the first non-playoff driver in the field. A little bit split into 2 camps here, with the top 3 trying to run away with this one, and then the rest of the field just working their way along and trying to set up for later in this opening stage. This top 3 has compressed a fair bit. Alex Kerfen not back onto the bumper of Rivers Jones, and Cameron Caldwell looking to get involved as well. Nearly overshoots the corner there and ends up in the back of that number 30 Chevrolet, but managed to hold on to it as Poland has managed to get the move done on a blinking Alonso Chicano and is now up to 4th spot. You can see the pack behind. There's Justin Raw on the low side, a row back, trying to work on Cody McCorkle, and is going to get that move done, it looks like, through turns 1 and 2 here. But this is the remarkable thing to me right now. Already, after just 9 laps, the top 3 have broken away by more than a second to Levi Poland, who I'm sure is trying to close that gap in again, but is still being put under pressure by Alonso in the 25, while the front 3, at least for the most part, are not putting too much pressure on Alex Kerfen. Wanted the move early, but I think he's playing it a little bit patient now that he knows it's not going to be so easy to get it done. Cameron Caldwell's mistake, just overshooting a little bit in turn 3 a couple of laps ago, is going to put him behind the 8 ball a little bit as Rivers Jones slides up the track through turn 4. I don't think that was contact, but it's going to open the door, and Alex Kerfen now going to want to try and get this one done. Moves to the high side through turns 1 and 2, is going to try and carry that momentum, has the lead briefly through the mid corner, but Rivers Jones with a shorter line is going to fight this one back, and they're going to be side by side down the backstretch, and that absolutely massive TV that, as far as I'm aware, is on 24/7. Alex Kerfen through turns 3 and 4 will clear, and after 11 laps we have a new race leader in the number 30 Chevrolet Silverado. Rivers Jones not done with this one just yet. He's going to try and find a way around. I think knows that there's a little bit of tyre life that's going to go any further fighting. A little bit further back here, actually. Justin Raw continuing to try and work forward. That pack is really closed in on Levi Poland, who I think maybe has chewed up those good years a little bit too much already on lap 12 as he falls from a peak of 4th down to 6th, and already Cody McCorkle is looking for a move as well. Next up for Justin Raw is going to be Alonso Chicano. Started in 5th place and has worked up 1 spot from what we assume is a tyre save long run play from Tristan Maher, who's currently sitting in 9th place, just 2.6 off your race leader. McCorkle tried to go to that high side, but I think the Poland washed further up the track. So he tucks in low through turn 4. They're going to be side by side through this quad oval. And it's going to be completely clear on the entry of turn 1. This just shows you how heavy the fall off is. Levi Poland, fastest lap in this race, 30.7. Last lap, 32.2. Already a second and a half sliced off that lap time for the number 90 truck. Compared to Tristan Maher, hasn't dipped even into the 31 flats yet. Tristan happily running with a 31.1 fastest lap. But last time by found a 32.0, second fastest of, I think, anyone on the racetrack here. I think this might be where he starts making move. This is where those two trucks are going to meet. Tristan Maher in the 17. Going to try and chase down that number 90 ahead. I'm not sure this one's going to take that long. Tristan's already, before I can get the graphic up, already side by side, and we're going to jump back to our off-board cameras to just see how easy it is for the number 17 to carry that grip on the low side. And Levi just has nothing to do here. Falls back to 9th. David Durand going to be the next one up. Yeah, Poland really starting as a bit of a bottleneck here. There's still William Kempf and Jordensmeyer behind, and this could be a lot of pressure being put onto that 09 truck, trying to get through this fight. You see him on the low side there, working on the 59 of Philip Scott, who was granted permission to race here by the administrators. All season debuts in the playoffs are at the discretion of the lead admins, and Philip Scott being vouched for, knowing that he's a very consistent driver and is going to be careful to not play a factor in this. But look at David Durand on that low side. They're fanning out. That Hershey's truck really tried to get around Levi Poland. And William Kemp is needing a friend right now. He's going to try and push that Chevrolet further up the field so that they can both clear that number 90 and then he can tuck underneath. But it's not going to work out, and Poland's actually going to get the run back once again. This is a nightmare start for William Kemp, who really needs a strong result here today to throw himself back into the playoff hunt, into the championship 4. Jonathan Jordensmeyer also languishing down the field, has some connection issues so far and is currently 7 seconds off your race leader. While these cars, they're just in lockstep on the backstretch, running a good 0.4 a lap slower than the trucks ahead, who were able to slot in single file, as that low side really starting to lose out in this fight. And both Poland and Scott are going to clear very briefly before they go side by side with each other. And now Philip Scott, being patient enough to let that lane win, immediately sweeps through and is going to clear Levi Poland and run away. And David Durand, and especially William Kempf, are going to hope to be brought along with, as Poland loose off turn 2. Gathers it back up. David Durand clears. Just one truck left, but it's the one who has the most riding on this race. And thankfully for him, I think through turn 3 and 4, maybe not quite yet. He's going to have to continue and maybe take a compromise entry into turn 1. But as Poland has the wall entry, I think that is now move done. And Kemp can set sights forward and try and follow the flying truck of Philip Scott now up towards that lead pack of 8. You've got the top 5 under a blanket here. Justin Raw has caught up to Alonso Chicano, and you can see the 3 leaders right ahead of you there. As Justin does go for the move, goes to the low side. Isn't quite getting the run. Alonso is going to just reappear at the wall there and has the defense for the time being. This is going to hurt them a little bit. Further behind, Cody McCorkle and Tristan Maher fighting side by side. Tristan again dropped back very quickly early. Started 4th, but instantly dropped down to 9th. But the upshot of that is that he saved his tyres, and with 12 laps left to go in this stage, is back up to 6th spot and looking to try and chase down that lead pack once again. This is data gathering. This is the most important thing about an opening stage in a race with heavy tyre degradation. You pick a certain pace, you run with it, and you see if it works or not. The chances are you won't mess it up enough to fall off the lead lap, and if you do, there's probably a lucky dog to bail you out. And then once all's said and done, and you get to that stage break, you can just try and tweak your approach. Obviously, you can't tweak the setup besides maybe an adjustment to your brake bias if you are using a little bit of brake for rotation. But it's more about calibrating how heavy you push in the early stages of the race to make sure that you can optimize and really perfectly run the rest, depending on how long that final run is expected to be. So side by side for fourth, let's have a look at those numbers. Fuel window, 50 to 60 laps at a push. Luckily, drivers will not have to go quite that far. We'll have obviously about 95 laps left at the beginning of that final stage. So splitting it in two should be doable, but that is still nearly 50 laps on a single tank as Justin Rohr does get the move done up to fourth and is now going to try and work on Cameron Caldwell as we are in the final 10 laps of the opening stage. But the really crucial thing is you want to try and optimize your overall time, not over one lap, but over 30 or 40, or if we get a well-timed caution, maybe even 55 laps, to make sure that you are at the front, not the start of the stint, at the end of it when the checkered flag flies and where all the points are paid out. Of course, some points will be paid out in just a few laps' time here, and this is why Justin Rohr and behind Tristan Maher are making a hard charge. Tristan now only 2 seconds off your race lead and gains 2/10 that last lap. Could be a little bit mistimed from the 17, but they are side by side for the race lead, with as Jones touches to the low side and tries to take the lead back from Alex Kerfen and gets it done through 1 and 2. It's almost like running a marathon. You're timing your momentum, you're timing your stamina to make sure that you have exactly what you need at the right time to get over the line. Jones does defend that from Kerfen. Further behind, Rohr and Caldwell are side by side. Then Tristan's hoping there's a bit more fight from this top four to bring him into the battle. But I think the 17 further on might either have to keep running this way for a longer stint, or if we get another 30 lap sprint or so, maybe dial a little bit more into it in those opening laps. William Kempf up to 10th now in a battle with Fidel Fabian. That's the final stage point. Caldwell ripping that high side. We saw this at Bristol as well, let's not forget, on the restarts. But it's a very, very different track. Night and day compared to the Coliseum and this very old school, very well-loved racetrack in Charlotte. Justin Rohr can't quite get it done. He's going to have to slot back in and find another way around. Maybe he can get to the high side and get a move done that way, but I think Caldwell's wise to it, and the light's running up against the wall even. 2, 3 and 4 just to cover off the exit, because the thing about already being up at the wall in the mid corner is that even if it's not the optimal line as a single truck, to run the low side effectively, you need to be able to use the entire width of the racetrack, go from the wall to the apron and back up to the wall. And with Caldwell placing his truck up against that safe barrier and exit at turn 4, there's just nowhere for Rohr to take that run. He has to crack the throttle and check up to not run into the 12. And so it makes it just that much more difficult to actually complete the move. 4 laps to go in the stage. Here comes Tristan Maher working on Alonso Chicano for 5th place. Tristan is definitely gaining. He's definitely the fastest truck on the racetrack right now. But with only 5 miles left to go until we bring it to a caution, it does seem like the aggressiveness of that tyre save at the early phase of the race was maybe not how to run this first run of the race. Continue to work on Alonso at the line. It's going to be a matter of thousandths between the two of them. Once again, Tristan has that low side, but it means that he can't use the full length, the full width of the racetrack. If you're on the high side, you always stay on the high side. There's nothing that you have to compromise there. And because of that, Alonso able to hold on as we come to popsicle sticks in the opening stage. 2 laps to go. And Jones is actually at the front of the field, broken off by half a second over the trailing pack. So really timed that sprint and bolted away. Now it's up to the rest of the pack to pick up the remaining spots and the remaining points inside the top 5. Ward goes to the inside of Cameron Caldwell once again, further back. Tristan doing the same on Alonso. But we've seen how this can go. This time, though, Alex Kerfman running high could throw some dirty air maybe at Cameron Caldwell and make it a little bit easier for Justin, and it does, and he's going to clear. Tristan Maher clears behind as well. White flag in the opening stage. It's Rivers Jones leading by 0.6 of a second, and then it's Kerfman, Raw, Caldwell, and now Tristan Maher rounding out your top 5. 5 playoff drivers rising to the top as we get to the business end of this opening stage. But it looks like it is going to be by a fairly comfortable margin. Rivers Jones in the number 18, who's going to bring this one home. Alex Kerfman, I think, should just about defend the spot from Justin Rourke behind. And we have, ladies and gentlemen, a caution-free opening stage. Good work to all the drivers. Everyone stays on the lead lap as well. We'll bring up your ticker just to recap what the running order was. It's Jones, Kerfman, Rourke and Caldwell, 3rd and 4th. And then Tristan Maher fell to 9th, came back up to 5th ahead of Alonso Chicano. Philip Scott, great return from the 59. David Durand, William Kemp with 2 points for his playoff campaign. And then Cody McCorkle rounding out the points scorers. And I think with this, it's going to be a very easy decision for all of these drivers. Have been put in a spot where the only choice really is to go and take a set of 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of fuel and to keep it rolling towards the next stage. And like a mass migration of geese, everyone down on pit lane. Gonna file out to their boxes. Gotta make sure to hold that speed as accurately as possible. Remember, only a rev gauge available, at least actually on board the trucks, and no limiter. We're gonna pull in. Cameron Caldwell with a bit of an adjustment there. And they'll go up right hand side first. As that drops, the jack goes in on the left as well. Josh Coppenall further back. Missed the box by quite a way, I think. William Kemp is the first one rolling, but Rivers Jones at the front of the field is going to win the race off pit lane. And we are going to be rolling once again. I think the Dane there, Tristan Maher up 1 spot, his 4th one out, as was William Kemp up 1 spot as the 8th truck off pit lane. Best stationary time is a 14.2 from Philip Scott, and total transit time is 36.9 from Rivers Jones. That's the benefit of the pole sitter pit box. You don't actually have to get all the way up to pit road speed before you hit the line. It makes it a lot easier to win that race, and that's why when NASCAR teams get the selection after qualifying, they almost always, the pole sitter, kick that very front box. Make that a little bit easier on the way out. Of everyone else, it was Philip Scott and William Kemp with 37.5s, but Cameron Caldwell with 37.4, and crucially Tristan Maher with 37.3, a second and a half faster than Justin Rourke, and that is where that jump came from. Here's to choose. Rivers Jones opts to stay low, and I think the field basically going to do a zipper unmerge across the start-finish line we are going to get racing once again. It is 96 laps to go from here to the checker. If you want to do those maths, if you want to split it in half, which is probably the best way to preserve tyre, that'd be 48 and 48. That would be a pit stop on lap 86. I nearly said 76, and that would have been wrong. Maths is hard when you're in the booth. It's even harder when you're in a race car. Some drivers will have early, some drivers will have spotters. Always good to have a friend in the voice chat just to double check your numbers and to double check your strategy. I see Cameron Caldwell looking to get a little bit of temperature into that fresh set, thinking there might be a lack of grip on the opening lap. I wouldn't worry about that. Again, scorching temperatures has fallen another couple degrees, 112 Fahrenheit now, from a peak in qualifying and practice of 120. I think we're expecting more of the same in stage 2. Let's hope we get some more good green flag racing and we get to see some green flag cycle here. It's going to be Rivers Jones now in control of the field, coming into the Geico restart zone, and away he's going to go, and a great jump, a huge jump across start-finish line. Kerfen and Caldwell will be side by side through turn 1 instead, and that's 0.3 of a second before we even turn the wheel for turn 1. Cameron Caldwell on that low side is going to be dominant here. You don't have to worry so much about drifting up when you're at that reduced speed. But Caldwell's not quite clear yet, and he's going to have to keep fighting this one with Alex Kerfen. And in fact, Kerfen with a great run through turns 3 and 4. Jones goes low, of course, has the entire racetrack to use, and I think maybe throws a little bit of weight at the number 12 in doing so. Alex Kerfen continues to fight, and they've closed right back in on Rivers Jones, to be fair, who I think saw the opportunity to do a little bit of saving. Kerfen just about slips in there. Width of a piece of paper between the two bumpers, gotta say. But great job for Kerfen to hold on to second place and maybe try and work on Rivers Jones once again. Succeeded in the first stage, at least in the short term, but remember, we did end up losing the spot back by the end of the run. But once again, these three trucks with a bit of a breakaway. Tristan Maher this time looking to not fall back into the pack. I think willing to use a little bit more tyre just to make sure that he doesn't have to fight his way back through, because let's not forget that's going to use up Firestones as well. The optimal lap time hurts, but having to take alternate lines, having to narrow your racetrack to get a move done is also going to hurt the quality and the life in that rubber. Just have to give it one spot here. Has Philip Scott behind. Again, a nice trusted face turning to the lead, it seems like. And here comes William Kemp looking to recover after the opening stage. Jonathan Jurdensmeyer actually took a long pit stop there, 40 seconds stationary on pit road. He fell down to last place by the end of the opening stage, and clearly a little bit of damage that he had fixed on that F-150, and now the 00 is flying back through, already up to 8th spot. So great work from the Illinois native to recover back to actually a spot higher than where he was at the drop of the green flag. But here comes Justin Raw, was fighting with David Durand and already has jumped to the outside. We've seen how strong the outside has been in attack and defence. And with William Kemp in the 09 dropping low, could check up Jurdensmeyer. Raw could try and get 2 for 1 here. Gets around the outside of Kemp. He's going to carry all that momentum. And they're going to be side by side in turn 1. But what a move and what a charge from Justin Raw to slot back through. He now sits in P7 and he's already looking at the rear quarter panel of Tristan Maher, as the top 3 have broken away even further than they did in the opening stage. 1.6 seconds now as Alex Kerfen, in fact, has gotten the move done once again on Rivers Jones, but we're 2 by 2 behind. This is slowing everyone up. This could be why it will get more pace. Maybe it's not the top 3 going faster and pushing more. It's this pad behind tripping over each other. Scott up to 4th now. He's going to try and lead this charge. Fidel Fabian working to the outside of Tristan Maher. And in fact, Tristan seems to be letting all the at-large drivers by, and So the playoff drivers that are staying bottled behind, you see 4, 5, 6, Scott, Chicano, Fabian, they are not in the championship hunt. And Tristan Maho's following them along, while Rort and Kempf battle for 8th place here. So a very interesting dynamic as we head towards one distance, and it's going to be Fidel Fabian spinning on the backstretch. And that will be our first incident caution of the day, but all things considered, a fairly minor piece of contact, it seems like, and I don't think very much damage being dealt to the field. So let's go up to the skies and see what happened. It's Alonso Chicano on the inside, of course, and just pinches a little bit, it seems like. Does the 11, and Alonso trying to use that entire racetrack. We'll rewind it again. We'll go on board with the 25 here on our roof cam. And there comes Fidel around the outside. I think, honestly, Alonso a little bit caught out by the pace of the 11, was maybe expecting a little bit of door-to-door contact, but ended up with a much more brutal rear quarter hit. We're going to fly through. The pit lane is open. A few drivers stay out, but actually a lot of the field here coming down pit road. Kerfen, Scott, Chicano, and Durand all stay out. Kerfen, the only playoff driver to go for this call, and we'll see what the rest of the field does. Is it fuel only? If you're taking 2 tyres, you should take 4 here, is my opinion. We'll see if anyone takes the 2-tyre call, but it looks like everyone here for a set. Cody McCorkle, I think, maybe was their fuel only. 5.3 seconds stationary. Everyone else with a classic 14-second stop that is suggests that they are now 2 sets off to for checks and for shaving down, and only 3 left in the bank. This is going to make things interesting. We've had it in the past where we've had a squeaky clean opening stage. We have had a nice rolling start to the second stage, but then once those tyre deltas start to show, the drivers behind can get a little bit impatient, and that is when cautions can really breed cautions. Stage caution doesn't tend to bring that chaos because everyone ends up aligned on strategy in that situation. But once you have an unexpected timing, no one's quite worked out the calculus of what if there's a caution on lap 46. And that's when everyone ends up on their toes, ends up diverging, and where things get a little bit tricky. Kerfen goes low. Judgeby goes very low there to mark what that move's going to be. William Kempf is a little bit further back. I think had a slow stop. Maybe missed the box. But this is a state of play, and this is going to be the story of this one. 12 laps on the set of tyres for the top 4. To be fair, probably only about 8 of those under green, but we've seen from some drivers fall off to be over a second even in that shorter span of time. But there's definitely a plateau. It feels like drivers can fall off very quickly, but then settle into a really nice rhythm for a while, and then start to fall towards that cliff, as it tends to be known. So the question is, how much of a delta is it going to be between those front 2 rows and the hungry field behind? And are they going to be able to navigate this without bringing out another caution? I certainly hope so. But it's going to be Alex Kerfen in control of the restart for the first time tonight. Philip Scott alongside has to react. We come into the restart zone. Again, all tyres. There could be some wheel spin from these leaders. But it's a nice clean getaway, and it is a great reaction directly behind from Alonso Chicano. Has much better vision of Alex Kerfen and his launch. And Chicano's going to be clear into turn number 1 here. But look on the low side. That's Rivers Jones, who already has walked up to 3rd place on the fresh tyres and is going to look very quickly to take the race lead. If this stays green, this is a nightmare for the trucks who stayed out. You know, to see Jones, sorry, trying to sneak to the low side by any means necessary. And that's going to be the incident. Philip Scott is caught up in it. We're going to have another caution, and just as we thought could happen, that is going to be another quick caution. And unfortunately, Philip Scott, his first start of the season, will go no further than lap number 51. Let's have a look at this one and see exactly what the contributing factor was here. You can see the 18, Rivers Jones, gets a little bit bottled up there by Alonso Chicano. That's the brutal thing. That is what causes all this chaos. We're now 3 wide through the quad oval. Everyone washes up to the wall, and actually, it's before we even get into turn number 1 where David Durand, trying to not stay low and get hit by Cameron Caldwell, I think, ends up washing into the side of the quarter panel of Philip there. And we'll do it one more time. We'll do it from this roof cam once again on board the Hershey's Chevrolet Silverado. And already 3 wide. We got Caldwell to the inside here. Tries to leave room for Caldwell and just misjudges where Scott is. The rest of the field, I think, gets away with it. We do have Shane O'Neill and Stephen Thornton down pit lane. Alex Kerfen and Alonso Chicano are also in to bail out of that strategy call and get onto a fresh set. But unfortunately for the 59, that is going to be day done before we get to the half distance mark. And it's a real shame for a driver who was looking so strong early, but just got caught out by that awkward delta between the old and the new tyres. And ultimately, it was David Durand, a driver who was also on old tyres, who made that contact, but it was the pressure from everyone behind, from Cameron Caldwell to the inside, looking to try and follow Rivers Jones through. Rivers Jones, who incidentally does now inherit the lead of the race with the caution, drawing Kerfen and Chicano into pit lane. You've got the top 3 on fresh tyres, then you've got David Durand back in 4th place, and then the rest of the field, again, 5 laps, only, well, a lap and change at speed. And then Kerfen, Chicano, O'Neill and Thornton gave up a lot of track position, especially for Alex Kerfen, for, well, 2 miles less green flag running on their set of Goodyears. I think that could end up being quite painful for the number 30. But as a driver who's currently 2nd place in the points coming into this race, and of course got a good haul at the stage as well, and a driver who has time to recover, there's definitely a chance to bounce back from this one. David Durand, again, still out on that old set, expecting, I think, more cautions to burn up the rest of the tyres from these drivers. Remember, once a set has been taken off the truck, it's done in iRacing. You cannot reuse that scrub set. And with some drivers only taking about 12 laps, I think 12 laps off the counter on that 2nd set of Goodyears, it makes the final 3 that little bit more tricky. Start with 1 on the truck, of course. You have 4 more sets in the pits. 20 total tyres to get you through 200 miles. And already drivers are a little bit behind the 8 ball, it feels like. These caution laps, of course, neutralise things a little bit more. Rivers Jones leads the field back to green. Normal service resumes with the number 18 getting a great jump. Cameron Caldwell on the outside struggles, and it's going to be Jonathan Jerdensmeyer to the inside. They go side by side through turn number 1. And it looks like Jerdensmeyer's going to have a great run here. And is going to clear. David Durand actually fighting back a little bit on Cameron Caldwell, but I'm sure the number 12 is going to be happy to rip that top side. Jonathan Jerdensmeyer is going for the lead here underneath Rivers Jones. David Durand actually has cleared Cameron Caldwell. And meanwhile, Rivers Jones goes to the point, and that is a new race leader. Well, an old race leader, I should say. The attack from the 00 fended off without too much trouble. Cameron Caldwell loose through turns 1 and 2. I'm not sure if there was contact to trigger that, or whether just a tap on the apron, but that is going to be a little bit of a problem for the tyres on the number 12. He's now being swallowed up as they're 3 wide ahead. Caldwell still struggling, and in fact is going to have a slide. Is that going to bring out a caution? It's going to whip back up the racetrack, and with the 46 behind, we are going to stay green. And that is hugely unfortunate for number 46 as well. But Cameron Caldwell, with a massive mistake, I guess the sail spin won't apply a penalty point, but it will apply a half-lap penalty on the racetrack and set off Goodyear tyres that are going to be screaming for mercy and praying that we get a caution before the number 12 falls a lap down. A promising run for Caldwell, but to seem to unravel, maybe picked up some damage in that incident. It does look like the right front is a little bit out of whack, and yes, Caldwell is going to bring it down pit lane here to take some repairs and to probably take a new set. There have been complaints from the drivers about how sensitive these trucks can be to bodywork damage and how it can really affect the performance and the handling of the trucks and make them nearly undrivable. I think that might be what's happened to the number 12 truck, and as a driver who entered tonight all the way down at the bottom of the playoff order, worry that without a miracle in the final 2 rounds of the round of 10, that could be the end of Cameron Caldwell's championship hunt. Caldwell, the only driver fully left in contention in the playoffs who is yet to take home a race win. The only other name on that list was Justin Durand, but of course his round of 10 over and his championship is officially done. Cameron Caldwell needs to find that first win of the season either at Talladega or at Homestead, or maybe both, to put himself back into this one. Meanwhile, David Durand at the front of the field, who, that I remind you, is on 11 lap older tyres than the 3 trucks around him, and I mean, I'll just bring you up on the ticker here, because this is quite remarkable. Curtin and Strano have worked their way up already to 5th and 6th, back through the field after pitting under that caution. Now working on Tristan Maher, who we know is a big tyre saver, but Curtin, it looks like he's trying to maybe give a little push round to the number 17. But David Durand holding on remarkably well for a set of tyres that are not only 20 laps or 10-20 laps older than the trucks around, but have gone through an extra couple of heat cycles, and sometimes that can be the big difference maker more than the wear itself. It's having them at full racing speed, then let it cool down under caution, and then back to racing speed that can be just an absolute nightmare on the tyre rubber and can easily put you on the back foot. Cameron Caldwell has rejoined the race 4 laps down, hoping for a few more cautions to deal him back into the order. Stephen Thornton, though, 20 seconds back, and that a quick caution. It could be the 46 who had to check up for that incident that picks up the lucky dog spot instead. Jones still being hounded a little bit by Jonathan Jerdensmeyer. Half-second gap back to David Durand. You've got to wonder if now, finally, those good years are starting to feel worse for wear. And it's Tristan Mahone, Alex Kerfman, who are the first ones eager to get the move done, but it's Alonso Chicano who pulls out of line first. Again, we talked about the playoff hunt, but ultimately, a win is a win, and that's all any driver wants. We're 3 wide. Across the start-finish stretch, Tristan Maher clears and gets the move up into third. Alex Kerfman on the inside will get it done. And David Duran, stuck in the middle with you, is going to get shuffled all the way back. Moves to the high side. I think knows that that goose is cut. And on goes Alonso Chicano. And to the inside now, looking for a move, could be Fidel Fabian in the number 11. Of course, the driver who spun off the nose of Chicano to bring out the first incident portion of the race, second including the stage. Cameron Caldwell, in fact, is now in this pack and does have what could be a fresh set of tyres. I'm not sure if he's used a set in that with those slides. I think it'd probably be advisable to. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that if this stays green for another 10 laps or so, he might be able to unlap one of those 4 right now. And there would only need 3 cautions to bring himself back into the running here. And chip on a chair, it says if you are a driver as fast as Caldwell is, any spot on the lead lap is all you're going to need, and you can get yourself some well-needed points going into the final 2 races of the round of 10. But at the front of the field here, it is still Jones, chased down by Jordensmeyer. Maher and Kerfen now close behind. David Durant has now been shuffled behind Justin Raw, and of course Fidel Fabian. And now the 24, who, to be fair, and this is a benefit to the number 24, has 1 additional set of tyres available compared to everyone else in this race. The fact that he's still in 8th place is actually a pretty strong result. He's up 7 spots from where he started this one, and could have the strategy advantage to deal himself so much further up the field if he needs it, and if things fall the right way. But we are now past the halfway point, onto lap 69 of 134. Justin Raw has gotten the move done on Fidel Fabian. Now has about 9/10 to catch up to Alonso Chicano, but does have that wedge of Cameron Caldwell in between. We know that he's looking to work his way back through the field now that he's got that damage fixed, and that truck's driving a lot better now. Looks absolutely on rails, and he's half a second a lap faster than your current race leaders. This is where some multi-class experience could be crucial here, because you've got to treat Cameron Caldwell as a truck that you're not really racing, you just want to try and coexist as peacefully as possible. Of course, number 1 rule there, don't get caught up in an incident. You know, if you're Caldwell, you really don't want to make enemies by causing a caution here and wrecking a leader. But if you're one of the leaders, there's no reason to get into a big fight here. You're not really that concerned about one truck working its way back 1 lap. You're about everyone else around you and keeping your tyres in check. So it's about facilitating the move as smoothly as possible. And ultimately, Caldwell's doing a great job of it, because he's making his intentions very clear, as he has all race long, and in some cases all season long. He's going high, he's going to use that line, and as we get to the top 2, Jones and Jordensmeyer, Caldwell's there on the outside of the 00. He's in I think, clear the 00, might have to slot in behind the number 18. No, he's actually going to get there alongside, and would you look at that, 1 lap crossed off the list for Cameron Caldwell. 3 to go now, and I'm sure now looking in the mirror and praying for someone to have a moment. Someone, anyone, it doesn't matter who, because that would not only cycle him back around to the tail end, but then he'd get a friendly free pass as well. Chicano has moved his way up to 4th in that drama as well. And again, treating it like multi-class, that is what you've got to do. You've got to use cars as a pick, like Dale did in the 98 500. Anyone, no matter who they are, if they're on the racetrack, they have an opportunity to facilitate a move. And Chicano has moved up to 4th place doing that. Alex Kerfen back down to 5th. Justin brought about 7/10 per second back, has really slowed the charge a little bit compared to what he was running earlier, but is very much within view of this front 5. And I did the calculations when we had the stage caution about when you'd split this one in half, but it's a little bit more complicated now. These drivers, most of them have run 26 laps on this set, a couple of them run just 21. We are now 60 laps to go, so I'd say another 15, 20 laps, and then it's a very good time to make a pit stop. Quick weather report, track temp continues to fall as we go past 4 p.m. local time here in a wonderfully sunny Charlotte afternoon. But we're still well above a ton, 109 Fahrenheit the current reading on the racetrack, 86 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy in the air as it has been all day long. But I think it might be, I mean, it's not a very windy day either. Just 4 mile an hour to the west won't be affecting these drivers very much at all. William Kemp is to the inside of Fidel Fabian, looking for a move, can't quite get it done. You've got Levi Poland as well ahead. These three about 1.5 seconds off the lead pack. And I know we do have a pit cycle on its way, but it's got to be agonizing to be in this spot right now because you can just see the trouble. And there's William Kemp to the high side, trying to get the move done that Cameron Caldwell has shown so excellently, and manages to make it stick very close to the wall and sweeps around the number 11. Now touched low, using the whole racetrack to catch up to the rear bumper of 90. I think that's the crucial thing often. If you find pace on the top side all the way around, then go for it. But for the most part, you want to be trying to take that full racetrack, use the optimal line, and only sprint the move when you need it. First of all, so you catch him by surprise, that's always a bonus. But second of all, because it means you're only using the tyre in the exact moment you need to, and the rest of the time you can save it. We'll look up to the front of the field. Tristan Maher working his way around Jonathan Jordensmeyer now, up to 2nd place. Great move from the number 17. Jordensmeyer had a little bit of connection problems in this one, but it doesn't seem to have been affecting anything too much so far. And there's Tristan again on the high side. I think maybe just finding grip late in the run, and that can be a case as well. Sometimes lower grip on the tyres can encourage a different line. And so you might move up the track or down the track as the tyre life goes on. Not to mention that with the oval refresh and the dynamic track updates, sometimes if everyone else is finding grip in one spot, they'll end up wearing out that bit of the racetrack, end up heating it up too much. And you can find grip somewhere else. And Tristan Maher trying to find grip on that high side to get towards Rivers Jones, but currently he looks absolutely untouchable in that number 18 Toyota Tundra, the new blue and yellow, blue and silver design on our championship leader. Different scheme, same spot. Only has 1 win on the season, but could have had a good number more, you've got to say. And as we enter into the final 55 laps of competition, I'm going to be looking to find a second. I think Chicano starting to struggle a little bit on pace. We'll pull up the last lap times for our drivers. Chicano 9:33 last time by, the 2/10 off the trucks in front. Alex Kerfen's time also slow, but I think it's more that he needs to pick a way around the number 25 at this point to hold on to that top 3. Justin Raw, I think, in the same boat, but of course doesn't want to try and make it 3 into 1 because And then no one's hitting anywhere fast. It does seem like Tristan's not been able to find a solution to the Rivers-Jones problem yet. He keeps trying to use that very high side, but he's needed to work out his Kerfen. He's struggling to make it stick on the 25. He's going low. Chicano's using that high side, but again, it narrows the exit for the number 30. You have to almost gain 2 full truck lengths in the corner to easily get the move done. One to get fully alongside and one to get fully ahead so you can move your way up to the wall. We have our first taker down pit road. It's the 91 of Shane O'Neill. And we'll see if anyone reacts to this as we are 50 laps to go in this one. 51, I think, when the 91 pulled it down. I'm not sure that'll move the needle too much for the front runners, but we will see if anyone decides to go for an undercut and to kind of roll the dice on a caution near the end, because pitting early really helps in that initial phase. You have to pay the piper at the end of the stint, though, when everyone else has the fresher tyres. But of course, the moment a caution flag flies, someone throws a bottle onto the racetrack and suddenly everything's neutralised again. O'Neill does fall 2 laps down, slots in behind Coppen, also 7 seconds off the lead lap, or 7 seconds off gaining 1 lap back. But again, current leader's running 32.8. Your fastest lap of this one does come from Rivers-Jones. It's a 30.6. So it's possible that even within 5 laps, O'Neill could be back around these race leaders. Cody McCorkle is the next one to make that call. He's going to be in pit lane. We are into the final 50 laps of competition here. Current stints are 38 laps for your race leaders. David Duran's working on lap 50 on that set of Goodyear, so I think he's probably the first one to be considering pit road. But when will the rest of the field blink? I think if you wait more than 10 laps from here, you're leaving it a little bit late. Maybe 10 laps okay, but I think if you get to 15 or 20 from here, if you get towards and past that lap 100 mark, you're really putting yourself in danger. Alon Chicano and Justin Rohr still fighting side by side. Rivers-Jones, we're in that high side, really trying to block that run from Tristan Maher, who's trying to use that to his advantage. Jordensmeyer's working low to try and get it done. And then a slot back in, and this is, again, it's unusual for the 18 to be running this line. It's not been where it's been all race long. You can see Tristan struggling to deal with it. Jonathan Jordensmeyer is going to make that run, and is going to be to the inside of Tristan Maher. He's going to lead the duo at the line. Of course, second place behind Rivers-Jones. This is playing into Jerd's hands, as Maher doesn't really know what to do with these defensive moves from Rivers-Jones. It's a good run off turn 2, has the slipstream here. He's trying to go higher, he's trying to go all the way up on the wall, but Jones's wide switch isn't leaving enough room for that to happen. And still no takers down pit lane here. And to take that back, Justin Rohr, going to be your first playoff driver to come in for a set of Goodyear tyres. With 45 laps to go in this one. Again, surprising that David Durand hasn't made that call, given that he's not been down pit lane since the stage break. Back on lap, well, 36, I think the pit stop would have been. Tristan Maher's had enough. He's going to respond. He's going to come down pit lane and avoid this fight between Jones and Jordensmeyer. He's got the undercut. Alex Kerfen will follow. Justin Rohr still down on pit lane. It's going to exit now, 1 lap down. Because a caution now would be a nightmare for a driver like Rohr, because he'd have to take the wave run and he'd be on the tail end behind everyone else. It'd be a nightmare for O'Neill as well, who doesn't seem to have worked that far through the field. In fact, where is O'Neill? Yeah, O'Neill's all the way back, still behind and fighting with Raw. I think that might be that second lap gone and done and dusted now. Jones and Jerdensmeyer stay out. Fidel Fabian came in last time by. Justin Raw is going to fly past Alex Kerfen, who just came out of the pit lane. You do see, though, that Tristan Maher has managed to defend that undercut from Justin Raw, crucially, as David Durand finally pulls it down pit lane for a fresh set of tyres. Still out in front, though, Jones and Jerdensmeyer. Maybe hoping there's a caution left in this one, because they trap a huge chunk of the field lap down if they time it at the right point. Now within 0.2 of a second, they're running 33-second laps here. The trucks that have pit, you're talking a 31.2 from Cody McCorkle, 31.5 from Justin Raw on the first flying lap, and that's still working through traffic. Tristan Maher just set a 30.7. So we'll pull that up on the tower. That is 2.2 seconds that the 17 has gained on your race leaders in just a mile and a half. Again, are they going to have to pay the piper at the end of the race? Maybe, of course, but the longer that these leaders leave it, the more difficult it's going to be, and they're going to be 3 wide there as Tristan works on Alondo Chicano and William Kempf. That's second and third. Tristan's only a couple seconds away and probably a lap away from getting back onto the lead lap, and at that point, there's no benefit to trying to trap the field because you're just going to hand the lead over to Tristan, who is absolutely flying around turns 3 and 4. Makes it easy around the both of them, and that is the signal. Right as that happens, those two, William Kempf behind, Levi Poland behind, they all go, oh, I want some of what he's having. That looks absolutely fantastic indeed. But I think at this point it is going to give the lead over to William Kempf, who unfortunately is going to go around Cameron Caldwell, who is run on 34 lap old Goodyears at this point. He's not going to get the caution that he needed anytime soon here, as the field is well and truly strung out. Alondo Chicano finally makes the call down to pit lane as well. Rivers Jones on the apron exiting. Where's Tristan? Tristan's still in turns 3 and 4, actually. No, sorry, he's already in turns 3 and 4. I've had the other way around. That is the gap between the two of them. Josh Coppenall still out. Josh Coppenall will lead a lap. That's one to put in the record books for the 42. He's only lead a couple, I think, but Tristan Maher has 17 seconds back. Raw and Kerfen gonna be in the wheel tracks, and they have a 10-second advantage over the likes of Rivers Jones, Jonathan Jerdensmeyer, and William Kempf, who all waited the extra 6 or 7 laps. 10 seconds to make up over the course of 35 laps. Is it doable? I mean, of course it's doable. These are the best drivers. They are fantastic at what they do. Is it easy, though? Not when you've got the trio at the point that you do. They are wonderfully quick, as I think Josh Coppenall is just on a strategy casting the dice for the caution here. Raw and Kerfen going at it for what is third place currently. Provisionally will be net P2. And on the low side, Alex Kerfen is going to hold that line. They're 1.4 seconds off the back of Tristan Maher. Justin Raw's tyres 1 lap older. That's not really much of a delta to be concerned about, but it's always something to be aware of, at least. But that gap to the trucks behind is remarkable. That being said, Rivers Jones already has taken 2 seconds out of that gap. Jones's last lap was a 30.9. Tristan's was a 31.4, so half a second a lap right now, as the that front group have taken the shine off that sticker set of good years, and Rivers Jones still has some of that freshness to work with. Will that half-second delta last? No, it'll settle into more of a rhythm, into more of that plateau that we talk about. But he's got to make hay while the sun shines. He's got to make sure not to push too hard, of course. So he wants to preserve the tyres all the way to the checkerer. It's why he pit late, so he has something to fight with at the end. But you want to walk your way up to them as best you can. You don't want to run, because that's how you kill the tyres. But you just want to walk slowly, methodically through the field and towards the rear bumper of the trucks on older tyres, on the worst tyres. And at that point, it can be very simple indeed. Cody McCorkle, 10 laps older tyres than Rivers Jones. Once he clears, we'll have great delta in terms of what the gap is between the opening packs. Kerfen and Raw, within 3/10, are still on the back of Tristan Maher. There goes Rivers Jones, and now that's the fight. 6 seconds between Rivers Jones and contact with the lead trio. And the lap times you see in the corners, 31.6 for Justin Raw, 0.4 of a second gained by the number 18 in the last mile and a half. Josh Coppenall finally pulls it down pit road. This will now be your battle for 3rd place. As I toddle that through. And now we're back and running. Now it's half a second. That last time by. Great work from Rivers Jones to keep that pressure on. What would it mean for Rivers Jones to take his 2nd win of the season, to stamp his authority on the playoff race right here at home in North Carolina? Took the win at Pocono, of course, over in Pennsylvania in the penultimate round of the regular season. Before that, had a litany of top 10 finishes, but just the one podium at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is the stage where you need to turn consistency into dominance. And Rivers Jones has the tyres to do it right now. He has 30 laps to work with. He needs to make sure that he uses the tyres at the right time to work his way through. Here's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, though, following Rivers through, and might just have a little bit more pace right now. Maybe not that last time by. I mean, look at that delta. 0.8 of a second between Justin Raw and Rivers Jones. In one lap of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And of course, once Jones gets there, he has to engineer the move. But we were saying how you kind of need 2 truck lengths in the corner to make it really easy. There's Josh Coppenall, by the way, on those fresh tyres, looking to unlap himself. His tyres are 15 laps fresher than your race leaders. He doesn't want to get involved in the playoff fight, does not want to cause an incident, so he's being very patient with that lead pack. But he's going to work his way through, no problem whatsoever. And it is going to maybe set the top 3 out of rhythm a bit. Just knew what with the 32.2 last time by. Rivers Jones has daylight ahead, but drops to a 31.7. It's not so simple. We'll look further back, because we've got an absolute fight brewing on our hands here. This is the battle for P8. Levi Poland at the front of the field. David Durand, Fidel Fabian, and then Cody McCorkle on the oldest tyres of the lot. Just getting shuffled out by the whole group. Once again, I believe every driver has 1 set of tyres left in the pit lane to use. David Durand, the exception, he has 2. And Cameron Calder, who's submitted pits, might be on his last set, but from 4 laps down, he's looking for a miracle more than anything else. Stephen Thornton, actually the last driver in to complete the pit cycle. Everyone now can make it to the end of the race on fuel. The question is, what sort of pace will they be running when it gets done? Jordensmeyer is hassling Jones, is making Jones think about what's going on behind, but ultimately, very shortly indeed, the question is going to be about what's ahead, because that is still 31.7s. It's fallen off a second for Rivers Jones since the pit stop just 14 laps ago. But those extra few laps are another half second to that lead trio. Just before starting to fall off them a little bit. Jones is 3 seconds off your overall race lead. But first up, 24 laps to go to decide our winner. 24 laps for Rivers Jones to make 3 crucial moves for the title. And it's going to be Justin Roth, first opponent. Jordensmeyer waited in the wings to pick up the pieces if Jones can't get it done with any urgency. But this should be a big enough tire delta to sweep around on whichever line he really wants to. Let's go on board and see what it looks like. Tristan Martin's now got a second lead over Kerfen, who's got a second and change over Justin Roth. But you can see just how much easier it is for Jones to hold that low side. And he can go up to the wall because he's cleared Justin already. That is how easy the move looks. With just a 6-lap difference in tyre life. That is what these temperatures are doing. But you can see the sun not quite shining the same way. The cloud cover playing a bit of a factor, and track temp down now to 107 Fahrenheit. It's going to help the tyres last a little bit longer, and that is going to be what Tristan and Alex need more than anything else to get this one done. Jordensmeyer's also got the move done here. You can see him back of shot William Kempf, who pit late is working to catch up to and pass Alonso Chicano, who actually pit a lap earlier than him. John Chicano falling out of this playing a bit of distance, and Stephen Thornton is a lapped truck on fresher tyres, but again, wanting to just not get involved in any of the championship running. It's not been the 46s day, it's not been the 12s day, unfortunately. O'Neill 1 lap down in lucky God position, if it does come to that. But importantly, here is the battle. Jonathan Jordensmeyer and Rivers Jones now right on the back of Alex Kerfen for second place as we enter the final 19 laps of competition here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. MardenPC.com 200 could come down to a tyre life battle, as we've seen so many times this season. And it's the hard charger of Rivers Jones. Started on the pole here, has run so many laps at the front of the field, has somehow only fallen as low as 8th through this entire run, and is now working to try and get back up to second place. Gets to the inside of Alex Kerfen. They're going to be side by side to turn number 1. Jones is going to have the narrow racetrack, but it does not matter. He's all the way up. Kerfen's going to try and look for a switchback. He's going to try and draft on the backstretch, try and find any answer to the number 18. But it's just not to be. And Jones now has sights set forward. Jordensmeyer will end up playing almost rear gunner to Jones in this situation, because he's going to be next up on Kerfen and stop any attempt at a comeback when he tries to slot through. But it is 1 second. And Tristan Marr maybe has found a little bit of a second wind here. Rivers Jones maybe struggling on the tyre life further back. There you see it. Jordensmeyer trying to get the move done on Kerfen, but Kerfen's trying to hang high, wide, and handsome on the high side through turn 3 and 4. Isn't going to give it up, but with Jordensmeyer staying there on entry, we could see a repeat of what Jones was able to pull off in this corner a couple of laps ago. Not going to be quite so clean, not going to be quite so simple. And Kerfen's going to keep fighting this one. But what this could do, it could deal him right into the clutches of Justin Raw, who's got a little bit of clean track, but of course does have those 6-quarter tyres. And William Kempf, who is charging through. It's 5 seconds off your race leader. Jordensmeyer finally gets the move done. Kerfen giving a little bit of a push, I think just willing the duo back up to the lead group. As Rivers Jones, honestly, and this is really awkward, it's stalling out a little bit in that fight with the 17 of Tristan Maher. Took his first win of this season 1 week ago at Bristol Motor Speedway. Said that it didn't really feel the way that it should with the way the racing went, the way that the tempers flared into the final 15 laps. If that wasn't a win to be proud of, this one certainly would be. He's got to fend off Rivers Jones for another just over 20 miles. And although the tyres might be equalising, they're not equal. And Rivers Jones will always have that little bit more grip, those 5 laps less on this final set that he can use to claw it in inch by inch and try and work on that move. Gained a 10th of a second last time by. Now within 8 tenths. First time now, tried it within 7 tenths for the first time. You can see it's loose off turn two there, and through the entirety of the mid corner, those rear tyres starting to scream for the North Carolina native, but it's fast. His catches a quick Tristan Maher, washes up, I think maybe catches the wall slightly. We are now at battle stations. We are here. Rivers Jones is going to go to the low side. Does Tristan have the momentum to try and get this one done? Rivers Jones has the nose ahead. Can Tristan keep out of the wall? Can Tristan carry the momentum and gain the spot back? They are going to streak side by side down the backstretch. 12 laps to go, and Tristan is going to defend the spot. Rivers Jones has to slot back in. We say it, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Catching is one thing and passing is another. They are going to be side by side. Rivers Jones is going to lead at the line with 11 to go. He's going to have the nose ahead into turn 1. This might be what he needs to get the move done on the low side. Tristan flirting with the wall, trying to use the air cushion for anything. Gets the run off the corner. Jones covers the top, and Tristan moves back down low to try and fight this one back on the opposite corner. And you know what? He's got it done. Tristan's got the move back ahead. Is Jones just trying to set him up here? Is Jones trying to avoid making too big of a swing? Is he trying to let Tristan run the tyres out here? Just there's pressure from Jordensmeyer behind, just a second off. And with the exact same tyre life, has been chasing Rivers Jones the entire day. They're going to be side by side again down the backstretch with Jones to the inside. And this is a fantastic duel between the two of them. This is first in points, racing third in points. This could be a lot of what we're watching in that Championship 4 starting in just 3 weeks' time. But for now, we're into the final 10 laps and they are still in absolute lockstep. Jones has the high side this time. Can he get the momentum? Can he get clear? Yes, he can. Tristan slots in, looks for the slipstream, looks for any answer. But it is going to be Rivers Jones who leads into turn number 3. And now is doing what he was doing at the end of that last stint. Starting to run that high side, starting to block any hope of a truck ripping it around the top and getting to the rear quarter and preventing them from washing up into the wall. He's running that low side. He's trying to balance, not burn up his tyres too much with that defensive move. There's still 8 laps to go in this one, 7.5 as we enter turns 3 and 4. But what a fantastic battle from them. Tristan really tried to hold on for as long as possible and put on some fantastic moves. But Rivers Jones started on the pole, has led who knows how many laps in this one. Now has a 4/10 of a second lead, and Jordan's might have stalled out here. Doesn't seem to be closing on either of these two. With the top six all within 4 seconds. Raw and Kemp going to be battling. Raw actually, I think, has a bit of an awkward run there and has to let the number 9 by. Raw has the oldest tyres of this entire group. I think he might be struggling now. It's going to be important for him to try and fend off Chicano, Poland behind. Their tyres are 6 laps fresher. They're not in the playoffs, but they can take points away from Raw. They can play spoiler by getting this move done. They're racing each other right now for 7th place. And Jones, as we come to 5 laps to go, has built up a 6/10 of a second lead and is starting to leave Tristan in the rearview mirror. It does not look like he'll go back to back. And it looks like Rivers Jones will find that springboard into the Championship 4 and he'll find it right at home. They've caught up despite the battle in between Chicano and Poland. They are now on the back of Justin Raw. Raw's up into the wall. They're going to be 3 wide into the corner. He's going to have to let them both by. I think he knows that those tyres are not giving him anything right now. He's just trying to get to the checkered flag. But he's losing so much pace. He ran a second lap slower than Vidal Fabian last lap. It's not impossible that this could be more spots lost before the end of this race. Cameron Caldwell did pull it down pit lane and retire. He will only get a 15th place. That is a huge blow to his playoff chances. As we come through turns 3 and 4, 3 laps to go. Rivers Jones now has a 1.2 second lead. Tristan Maher is now having to fend off an attack from Jonathan Jerdensmeyer, who is 3/10 of a second faster. He's found a second wind. Tristan Maher is flagging. He's tapped the wall out of 2. He's losing momentum. It might have to be a bottom step of the podium for the number 17. It's a huge haul of points still, especially given performances in the stages. But as we hit the 3-mile mark, it is going to be all of the pressure from Jerdensmeyer here. And there's nothing, all the incentive to keep this one clean and to not let this get away from them to bring in an overtime finish that could throw the entire field back on its head. It invites Kerfen and Kempf back in. It invites Justin Raw back in if it comes to that. But they've only got to make it another few hundred feet because on the flag stand, Rivers Jones will collect the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 more lap in this one. And in fact, Tristan Maher was found just enough to fend off Jerdensmeyer. Maybe he's up against the wall. He's trying to carry that momentum. He's going to try and hold on. It won't be back-to-back for Tristan, but it could be first, followed by second. Jerdensmeyer dives in one more time. Can he get it done? I don't think he's going to be able to, but crucially, at his home race, Rivers Jones charges back through and takes the race to win. Our championship leader has another feather in the cap, and that is going to be absolutely vital for his playoff run. Chicano and Poland race back to the line. Justin Raw limps it across. You can tell struggling for handling, struggling through that entire final run, but he will come across the line in P8. And I think congratulations coming in from the field here. They all know how much this must mean for Rivers Jones. Congratulations from the 30. Congratulations from the 25. And all I can say is burn it down, my friend. What a performance. What a dominant race from Rivers Jones. And he has earned every single second of this one. And it looks like he's going to go all the way around for the traditional Polish victory lap. Check the race stats. Add another line to this. 134 laps of running. Rivers Jones led 82 of them. And most importantly, led the one that mattered. A perfect run for the number 18. Collected the pole position, collected the fastest lap even, with a 30.642. And he's got to be absolutely delighted with every single phase of that race. Rivers Jones, take a bow. So let's go through our race results while we wait for the smoke to clear on the front stretch. Rivers Jones wins it by 1.7 seconds in the end. A late charge through on the fresher tyres to take home the checker flag at his home race. Tristan Maher finishes up second place, fends off that late charge from Jonathan Jones, and then Alex Kempf and Alex Kerfen fends off the charge from William Kemp on the final lap to bring it home in the top 5. Alonso Chicano and Levi Poland side by side at the finish in the end. 8/1000 separating them for 6th and 7th ahead of Justin Raw, who had a nightmare end to the race but will take home points for 8th place. Fidel Fabian and David Durand round out the rest of your top 10. Cody McCorkle and Josh Coppenall were your final lead lap runners. Stephen Thornton and Shane O'Neill were failed 2 laps down. Cameron Caldwell, after that spin early in stage 2, will bring it back into pit lane 15 laps from the checker. And then Philip Scott, your only true retirement from this race, an unfortunate incident in a tyre delta down in turn number 1, will round out your field for tonight's action. And we are not going to waste any time at all, because we have the man of the hour on standby, Rivers Jones. What does this mean to you?
I'm so happy. I don't know, I'm just really happy. This is the first time I've ever really had a dominant truck. I mean, it was just perfect from start to finish. I got the pole, won the stage, and I was a little worried that I wouldn't win the race, because of the strategy. And we started so far back at the end of the at the start of the last run, but we just started reeling them in, and that's when I knew I was going to be able to win it. But it just means so much. The paint scheme on this truck is a tribute to Shiggy Hattori, who passed away last week. He was a really cool team owner. He won the championship with Brett Moffitt in 2018. It's such a great figure in the sport, so it means a lot to be able to win in this truck.
A great scheme to honour such a great man, and a great performance to do that as well. But let's talk about the venue that this dominant race came at. North Carolina listed on the overlays. We're here in Charlotte. Did you think that you had an edge here, knowing this track so much better than everyone else?
I wouldn't say I had an edge, but I do love Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's such a great track. I've always enjoyed racing on it. It's just I don't know, I view it as a perfect track. It's quad oval. It always puts on great racing. It just means a lot. Charlotte's an hour and a half away from where I live, so it's just so awesome, so special. Really means a lot.
And of course, came into this race leading the playoff standings. I think that's a perfect haul of points out of this one. So a huge gap now pulled to the rest of the field. Just 2 more races to go, Talladega and Homestead, to lock yourself a spot in the Championship 4. I know Homestead should be more of the same from you, but how do you approach a race like Talladega when you're in this sort of position, knowing that anything can happen at a track like that?
Man, Talladega is such a mixed bag. I mean, it has such close racing, and it often gets really hairy in that race. I remember we had a double header at Talladega to end the regular season last year, and it was just chaotic race. I think I was able to finish fifth and sixth in those races, but I mean, it wasn't from it wasn't from being up there. It's plainly because there were big wrecks at the end. So I feel like that's the key to Talladega, just not getting involved in the big one and just kind of taking it as it goes and not making stupid and over aggressive moves that can wreck you and others.
Yeah, I should be able to put your mind at ease a little bit, because the playoff standings have been updated, the points, and it looks like you're 43 points up on the cut. That's gotta give you some good confidence going into this next one, and knowing that even if it goes horribly wrong, it can't really be the worst deal in the world.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. It's great having a gap like that. 'Cause I remember last year I made the playoffs, and I was one of the lower seeds in comparison to this year where I was the first seed. But it was just it was difficult making up points because I mean it's just such a competitive league. But yeah, it feels great not being in that position this season for sure.
Well, I mean, what a performance. Again, 82 laps led. Taking the stage, taking the win, taking the fastest lap. I mean, just take a bow for one thing, but if there's anyone you want to shout out, say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on a dominant victory here at Charlotte.
Oh, thank you so much. First off, I gotta thank my mom and dad. I love y'all so much. Y'all are the best. I'd like to thank Justin, Jerg, Micah, all them Go Boys who I was in the BC with, talking strategy with. Steven, he didn't race tonight. He was doing some, but he's really helped me a lot. I feel like it's really helped me sound with my racecraft, with my speed, everything. He's a great dude. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and make sure to celebrate. You've earned it.
Thank you so much. You have a great night.
You too. So we will move on from our race winner down to second place. And I know it couldn't be back-to-back on this one, but that's got to feel really good to take such a strong performance out of this one. Tristan, second place finish on tonight's race. Talk us through it.
This race was definitely one of the funnest races that I've done in a while. Everybody racing respectfully, and me and Rivers had such a fun battle. I mean, that's like one of the best battles I've had in a while, and that's literally why I do this every Saturday night. So, yeah, it's a fun race. I just picked the wrong strategy, I guess. I undercut and I pushed for a little while in the beginning to kind of get through some trucks that were in my way, and then after I got through some people, I just started, I slowed down my pace on purpose just to like try and save something to fight with at the end. I think I did a decently good job of that. Rivers didn't pass me super easy. I think we were side by side we kind of swapped back and forth a little bit. But once he got past me and I was in his dirty air, it was pretty much over. I really if I wanted any chance of that, I really needed to keep him behind me. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Rivers did a great job, raced me clean. I feel like I raced him clean, and Jurg at the end too. Like, it was just fun. I was absolutely hanging on to my truck at the end. I was literally sliding through every single corner. It was just a good time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great battle. I mean, you put on a hell of a defense to keep coming back at Rivers Jones and making him work for every single part of that. Of course, the most important thing out of that one is a great points haul to take forward into the next couple of rounds. We do have the updated standings, and you are 16 points to the good right now to the cut line. So, and as that helps out the stress a little bit going into Talladega, but with 2 rounds to go, still worked on. How do you approach the next couple of races to keep grinding away there?
I think 16 points to the good actually makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Just because I feel like when we go to Talladega, we're going to have much higher truck count. And it's going to be pretty easy to lose 16 points. So that actually makes me a little nervous, you know? But I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. I kind of changed my mindset a little bit from like last season was just kind of horrendous for me, and this season didn't start off super good. But you know, my mindset that I've taken kind of went from like I need to be the fastest every single race, and I need to win every race, you know, and sometimes you're just not the fastest. There's always going to be somebody that's faster than you, and instead of focusing on being the absolute fastest, just focus on running a clean race, running your pace that you're comfortable at, not going to wreck, and make the fewest mistakes. You know, you just run that pace and you get good finishes. You know, and a little luck's been on my side. You know, I almost got involved in a caution during this race actually. I forgot about that, but yeah, a little bit of luck and just staying in your lane per se and running your pace and not driving over your head and not making any mistakes. That's my key, and that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Well, you're absolutely hitting your stride at the perfect time. 4 podiums in the last 5 races, so congratulations on adding to that tally. Before you go, any shout out sponsors, thank yous? The floor is yours. Congratulations.
Thank you. Got to shout out you up in the booth. Can't wait to go back and watch this one. This is one of the funnest driving races in a long time, so I'm sure I'm going to have a great time watching it. Wasn't a super high truck count, but honestly, you don't need a super high truck count. So shout out to you. Shout out to Cam for the league. Whether anybody believes it or not, he does work hard. He works hard to keep this league where it is, and he's put a lot of work in to make it what it is, and it is enjoyable. And got to shout out Josh, my teammates, Alonzo, Alex, even though we're technically not on the same team, but Alex, Cody, Justin, who's not here. Who else? I shouted out Cam already. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting? I don't know. Having a blank. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got.
Thank you. See you next time.
See ya.
And one more driver left to talk to. 3rd place finisher for tonight's race, Jonathan Jordensmeyer. Welcome to the JCTV booth, and congratulations on a fantastic run in that one. Talk us through the strategy call there, going long with Rivers Jones and William Kemp to try and pull something different at the end. And do you think you had a chance to try and get around Rivers and lead that charge through the pack?
You know, it was I definitely wanted to run longer before I pit on that run, because I mean Tristan pit out of nowhere. We had no time to react to it, and if we pit the lap after, he would have just been ahead of us. So at that point, I told Rivers, let's just run out a little longer and have a tire advantage so we could pass him on the longer run, and that's what we did. We both had good pit stops, and I didn't really want to pass him on that run just because it would kind of hurt both of us. But yeah, just sit behind him trying to save tires. And I mean, I thought I was saving tires better than him, but turns out he was just saving tires better than me, and he was just faster. So yeah, it was a good one for Rivers. But yeah, 3rd's pretty cool.
And it's your 7th top 5 of the season. Some great consistency. Going into the next round of Talladega, you are currently -1 to the cut line behind teammate Justin Raw. So all up in the air for this one. And a real roll of the dice, you've got to say. So first of all, I'll say good luck in that. But also, how do you go into that, and what's your sort of game plan for the next couple of rounds?
I mean, stage points are really big, so I mean, it'd be hard for me to say I'm just gonna sit in the back because those stage points are so big. I think if I don't know if you caught it in the booth, but at the beginning of the race, I got damaged before the line, killed the rear of my car, and that's why I was so slow that whole run. So, and I didn't get any stage points from that. So, I think I definitely could have maybe had 7, 8 stage points there, and could have been 7 points above the cut line. So that's how big stage points are. So, I think I'm just gonna take it take it not take it easy, but be cautious. It definitely is kind of tough trying to points race with a teammate at a plate track, because usually you're going to be working with those guys at a plate track. But yeah, just got to be wary. Just got to get to the end. Got to rack up points, which I have been doing all season. And yeah, I think we have a really good chance at advancing.
Well, thank you so much again. Congratulations. And before you go, shout outs, sponsors, thank yous. The floor is yours.
Just shout out to all the guys. Micah's suspended. Rivers on the win. Just yeah, everyone in call. The paint scheme. Justin Rott made the paint scheme, or well, he stole the paint scheme, but he still gave it to me. But yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
And with that, another round draws to a close, and we hit already the halfway point of the round of 10. Rivers Jones, with a dominant performance, puts 1 foot into that championship 4 circle. But with the rest of the field, Kerfin and Matt had about 20 points clear, but then Raw, Jordensmeyer, Kempf, Caldwell, all under an absolute blanket, and with a very chaotic race next week, it is still all to play for. It is going to be same time, same place, of course, on JCTV next week, where we head over to the high banks of Talladega for the final plate race of the season. You are not going to want to miss that one. From everyone here over at JCTV, this has been the MardonPC.com 200. I have been Olivia Hayward, and thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.